Okay, so I don't use the word envy very much, but the Washington Post has some tips on what to do with envy. Before we get to it, I wanted to deal with this sneaky little envy guy. Like, I sometimes use it synonymously with jealousy.
Right.
But I don't really use envy very much. You guys use that word?
No, I feel like envy is like more diabolical than jealousy in my mind. Like it feels more intense than jealousy.
So you don't use it much because you feel a little bit less sinful when you say you're jealous?
I guess.
Yeah, I get it.
I think I use it almost sarcastically sometimes. Like somebody, does something wrong and I'd be like, oh, I envy you.
Or I don't envy you.
Right.
That's when I say it. I don't envy your situation. Glad I'm not you, essentially. Well, it's a sneaky little guy. Did you know it's in 1 Corinthians 13? I forgot it was in there.
Mm.
You know, love is patient and kind.
It does not envy.
Yeah, it doesn't envy.
It does not boast. It is not proud.
Yeah, but I always forget envy's in there. Snuck in there. And then the minute I thought it was synonymous in the Bible with jealousy, I realized Paul separated things out. In Galatians 5:19 through 21, it says, "Now the works of the flesh are evident: sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity," another word I don't use, "strife, jealousy," there it was, "fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like these." So not only did he use both words, but he separated them a bit.
Yeah.
It's like jealousy, then fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy. So I was like, huh.
I don't think I ever picked up on that. That's kind of cool.
It is cool, but I'm like, Paul, you're making
What's
my life
the
harder
difference?
now. So thank goodness we have something called the internet. We'll see if this solves things for you. Dictionary.com says jealousy is a feeling of resentment, bitterness, and hostility towards someone who has something that you don't. This could be general success, an achievement, a trait, a social advantage, a material possession, or a relationship, among other things. What matters is that the other person has the thing, you want it, and this makes you resentful of them. That's jealousy. You ready for envy?
Yeah.
Envy is a negative feeling of desire centered on someone who has something you do not. Envy can also be a verb, meaning to feel this way towards someone. But the noun and the verb imply that you want to be in the other person's position, to have what they have. Like jealousy, thanks a lot, envy can be centered on any number of things, tangible or intangible. Envy can be described as a mix of admiration and discontent. But it's not necessarily malicious. It can be used as part of a compliment, as in, you've worked so hard to achieve your success, I really envy you. All cleared up for you yet, guys? Feel good?
No.
No. I'm thinking in my head, oh, I wish that I had Jesse's girl.
Is that envy?
That's envy. This is all consuming. He wrote a whole song about someone else's girl.
Oh, Rick Springfield. Did he name the album Envy, perhaps?
Should have.
So how about this? Because they have an article, and now it says, what's the difference between jealousy and envy? Simply feeling upset you don't have what someone else does and wishing you were in their position is usually considered envy. Now, in contrast, feelings of inner resentment and the outward hostility that sometimes results from such feelings are both thought to stem from jealousy.
Okay.
However, it is often said that envy can turn into jealousy.
Right.
And the point at which it does may not be so obvious. So envy is, I wish I had what they have, or I was in their position. And apparently, according to dictionary.com, jealousy adds hostility towards that person. Resentment or hostility.
That's interesting because I would have thought that envy was the stronger one. Like Lauren, I just think it has more of a negative connotation because like I've used jealousy as sort of like a compliment, like, oh, I'm so jealous of like your hair, your clothes or whatever. I'm not like actually going to take any of those. I like them.
Yeah, and as Lauren, as you described it earlier, right, you always thought of envy as worse.
Yeah.
It turns out, Neither is great, but
Mm.
according to this, jealousy is worse because
'Cause
it
you want-
adds a layer. It adds
You wish
hostility.
wrong upon someone.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what are you finding as you dig through? You've done the thing that people get to watch you to do on our live stream, which is Lauren, she's in it when she's grabbing all of her Bible resources stacked up in the studio.
The Bible commentary doesn't say anything. It doesn't list those ones.
That's not
I'm
helpful.
going to talk about it. Hey, whoever wrote that, I'm going to have words with Dr. Rydonic about that.
I actually
Talk to him tomorrow.
I grabbed Unger's Bible dictionary, and it was totally unhelpful.
Yeah, so was my Bible dictionary that I got. Let me scoot.
Isn't this a funny thing? Like, I never even considered this to be a problem. I thought one of you would just solve it for me. Thanks a lot, guys.
This is the Holman Bible Dictionary.
If people smarter than us don't have it written down, what makes us think we're going to figure this out in the course of this show?
Now, vocabulary.com has an envy versus jealousy. This is my favorite
Ooh.
site, vocabulary.com. Just kidding, I've never been there. It says this: it's no fun to feel envy or jealousy because both make you feel inadequate. Envy is when you want what someone else has, but jealousy is when you're worried someone's trying to take what you have. I don't like that.
No.
Take what you
No.
have.
Is that like in the term of like jealously guard or something like that? Because I feel like that's a completely different meaning within the same word, but that's probably not what we're talking about here.
So envy is being, you're not content with what you have.
Yeah, it seems close to discontentment. But again, the best one I've found where I don't feel dissatisfied at the end, like that dumb vocabulary.com. I'm throwing that one at you.
Oh, gosh.
Hit you in the face with it,
Ow.
actually. Remember, here we go. Simply feeling upset you don't have what someone else does and wishing you're in their position is considered envy.
Wishing you're in their position. Okay. I don't get the jealousy one.
Jealousy, though, is feelings of inner resentment and the outward hostility that sometimes results from such feelings. And both wait.
I'm sure the Berenstein Bears have talked about this. Let's look it up.
Yeah, but it seems
They
to
had a
me
whole
that
thing on the green-eyed
jealousy-
monster.
Exactly.
But see, what? Do you know they were Christians? The
Berensteins?
Berensteins? Yeah, the ones that wrote it.
Wow.
Very cool.
But nonetheless, it seems to me that envy is just wanting what someone has, and then jealousy turns into like you don't like the person, you're mad at the person,
Yeah.
you're resentful towards them. It's very subtle. And I'm trying to think through my own life when I've separated, like when have I felt envy and not jealousy?
Yeah.
I think the similarity of the words is kind of a testament to how quickly behavior or thoughts can slide from something that's maybe neutral into something that's potentially more harmful, and maybe you don't even notice.
Yeah, because I mean, the Lord doesn't like envy. We're not supposed to be envious. It's a work of the flesh. And we're going to get to the advice from the Washington Post, but I felt like we ought to really understand what we're talking about before we do it. And here's how we can test it. I have two examples in my life where I felt one of them. You know, I like to look at what's happening in the world, and whenever I see a secular periodical deal with something that ties to the Christian faith, I just can't resist it. And in this case, the Washington Post wrote an article called "When Envy Strikes, Try These 6 Things for Better Mental Health." And I was like, wait, envy, that's bad. Bible talks about envy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized maybe I don't even know what it is because it's a sneaky little guy. As I was mentioning before the break, I didn't even realize it's in 1 Corinthians 13. It's where, Paul's talking about what love isn't. It's not envious. And then in Galatians 5, just to make my life more confusing, Paul separated jealousy and envy. And I always thought they were essentially synonymous.
Right.
But we're learning they're not. It seems to be that envy is when you want something someone else has, and jealousy is when you begin to add negative feelings toward that person after wanting what they have. Does that seem like a fair assessment of what we learned so far?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I've got a couple situations where I want you to help me figure out whether I was jealous or envious.
Well, that means you're going to have to tell us what was in your heart and mind at the time.
Well, I know, but you're going to try to help.
Okay.
So recently I was scrolling through social media. Okay. I think a lot of us experience these two emotions every time we scroll. And there's a wonderful family for which one of my kids knows. We're similar in age and life circumstance. And I saw they were posting pictures because they're purchasing a vacation home somewhere. And I was like, wait, you're purchasing a vacation home, and I'm like, not doing that. And I'm not anywhere close to
Not
doing
even
it.
close.
And then I did the even naughtier thing. I went and looked up how much the house they bought cost, because they made it pretty clear, like you could figure out what the house was.
Mm-hmm.
And their vacation home was like,
Double your regular home?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
What was I feeling? Envious? I think I was feeling envy.
I think you're jealous.
But I like the people.
No, I know, but
Like, I don't have any negative feelings towards them other than, like, how can you do this? And I can't. Do you see what I mean?
yeah, but that inherently, I think there's a little bit of negativity in there. I think the act of you going and looking at how much it is, as that's like to make yourself feel better, that, I don't know, you didn't make in your mind maybe a wasteful purchase. I think if you just go, oh, that'd be nice to have, that would be envy. But you went the extra
Yeah.
step to figure out how much they paid for it.
Yeah, I think it's because it went a little bit farther than you just want a vacation house too.
But I mean, at the same time, I don't. I have a hard time maintaining my regular house. Like, if I really sit and analyze it, I don't want a vacation home. And yet I kind of do.
Yeah, wouldn't it be so nice? Just
It would
go
be
whenever you
nice.
want, sit on the beach, this big, beautiful house.
Because, like, Sarah and I have been watching this on Roku TV, this show where it's like buying Alaska, buying out west. It's like these house hunting shows.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who sometimes are like, oh, I want to buy this cute little place for my family, and it's just like $150,000 or like $100,000. And sometimes people are like, well, 1.2, I guess we can stretch, 1.2 mil. In this case, I don't know. I feel like I'm not mad at them. I'm not having ill feelings toward them. I'm happy for them.
You're the one that asked us to judge you about what you were feeling, and now you're fighting us about what we said.
Well, because I have one where I'm pretty sure it is jealousy.
Okay, go ahead then.
So when I was a kid, right, I was all into music, and I'm growing up, and I'm working really hard with my buddies, and we're playing in like some dive places and doing all these things. And there's this guy, a couple years younger than me, I got to know. Really nice. We'll just call him Jimmy. Not your Jimmy, of course.
Of course.
And Jimmy was a little aloof. And
Maybe it is my Jimmy.
and he wasn't even that good of a musician. Like, he was okay. Below average singer, average at, let's just say, guitar. But this dude just kept tripping into the most successful groups in town. Like, there was one band who was in the Twin Cities that played like every day of the week. And this kid just like, oh, guess what happened? I made this band. Like, for no good reason. Like, he's not good enough. And he got in. And I would just be like, what is he doing? I'm over here working hard. Look at this. You are enjoying this description, Lauren. You are enjoying. Look at your face.
Because it's obvious that it's jealousy because of how you're talking like he talks.
You're mocking him,
Yes.
just like this
Yes.
incredulous tone. But no, I've been there before though, where it just seems these people just get things handed to
Yeah.
them, and you're like, what's wrong with me? Why do they deserve this? What have they ever done?
Yes, and I've watched his life on social media as he keeps like accidentally tripping into success. It's as if the man has never worked hard. Now, I know none of this is true,
He probably has worked hard.
but this is the narrative I tell myself. So do you see why I feel like for sure that's jealousy?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you've created this caricature of him
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
probably
that he's evil.
only about 50% or less accurate.
No. He's a nice person who's very aloof and not very smart, and he trips into success. Which
Yeah,
is,
he doesn't try hard at all. And yeah. Right.
and that's clearly jealousy.
Yes.
I feel like I was envious of the vacation
Because you
home.
just want the home. It's
Yeah,
not
I'm
about
not
them.
really mad at them. Like, I'm actually kind of happy for them that they get to have their nice time. There's just like teeny little bits of jealousy, maybe, but just smaller bits compared to this person.
You went on Zillow or whatever to figure out how much they paid for it.
Have you never done that?
No.
Oh, I have. I want to know how much people are paying for their houses.
I mean, you could find that out about anyone's house right now. In fact, Ron, what's your address again? Just kidding. Don't say it on the radio,
don't,
Ron. Don't
Ron.
do that.
745 23 98250.
1212 Boogie Boogie Avenue.
Sure. That's a nice
I had
location.
a buddy that did that to me once. I was like, what's your address? He goes, 1, 2. I start writing it down. 1, 2, Boogie. Hey, that's not your address. This is back when you had to write down addresses, ladies. So we ironed this out. We think we know the
Little bit.
difference. Jealousy adds the negative feelings towards other people.
Right.
And I'm learning, I think, it's very rare that envy doesn't turn into jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it possible to be envious without, at least on a subconscious level, having it like manifest into negative emotions?
I don't know. And see, I thought when I started sharing, this would create a situation of mutual sharing. But clearly the rest of you are going to keep all, Brian, I'm not envious. I am very sweet. I think everyone's more important than me. I'm Christian.
Okay, so fine. So we just moved into this new house in this very very cute neighborhood, and you already feel like the keeping up with the Joneses type of thing creeping in, where you want your house to look a certain way so that it can impress your friends or whatever, and you start to get kind of like, well, how come they can have this nice updated kitchen that they spent 5 years and a lot of work on, and I can't because I just moved in a week and a half ago.
So that's envy. Oh, wait, well, it sounded like, what do you think? Are you jealous?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Doesn't sound like there's negative emotion yet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to...
Yet.
That's what I was going to say.
Give it another week and a half.
Right.
I mean, it was creeping in there. You were kind of talking all, about them, like, how come they can have the... But that's envy. No.
Maybe it is jealousy.
I think once you start looking at somebody else, like, why did they get it? That's got to be jealousy.
Okay.
Lauren, your turn. Just kidding. You don't have to share.
I didn't have anything come to mind. I have to think about things.
Oh, it's because you're a moody grad. I understand.
No one said that.
You went in the envy class.
Sounds like you're jealous of me going to me.
It actually does sound like that.
Yeah. I have a neighbor who has the perfect lawn.
Ugh.
It's,
yeah.
There's not a weed. It's always the right height.
Yeah.
I guess I could be envious of him, but I'm not jealous because he spends so much time on it. He's retired. So in his little 1/4-acre yard, he's got a riding mower and he gets up at like 8 o'clock and starts making noise with it, and a leaf blower. And
I hear some jealousy creeping in.
No, I think he wants the lawn, but he doesn't want that life.
Yeah.
Sounds like maybe he's made an idol of his lawn. Oh. So that's not something to be jealous of.
Amen.
So
my lawn is obviously not idolized.
Mine either, Ron.
And you're okay with him having a nice lawn?
Sure. He puts the time in. It's nice to look at, but
I think that's a wonderful example of envy. Not that envy's good. I made that sound like it was real. Yay!
Yay, Ron.
Look at you did it, Ron. You did it.
World's best cup of coffee.
But yeah, so you wish your lawn was like that, but you're happy his is, and you understand why it's like that, and you're not willing to do it.
Yes.
There it is.
That's good.
Now, for clarity's sake, of course, the Lord doesn't want us to be envious or jealous, because as Galatians 5 indicates, those are both works of the flesh. We're supposed to have, as Galatians 5 indicates, the fruits of the Spirit. You like that?
5s. Galatians 5s.
So how do we get rid of envy? How do we get rid of it? It took us quite a while, but we think we figured out the difference between envy and jealousy.
Yes.
Paul separates it in Galatians 5, so clearly it's different. Now, the best we can determine using a lot of fuzzy definitions out there, envy is wanting what someone else has. Mm-hmm. Jealousy is that plus resentful and like bad feelings towards the person.
Yeah.
So the Washington Post has some advice. What do you do to stop being envious or like be better about it?
Great thoughts, guys. Just stop.
What? You don't?
No, it's just like, let me just stop.
Well, they have some tips. We'll see if we like them. So first of all, they say validate your envy. When you're hit with a wave of envy, they say acknowledge it. Merely saying I feel envious can ease the sting. One study found that labeling our emotions can calm down our limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for regulating emotions. So just say, "Oh, look at me! I'm feeling envious." Mm-hmm. Well, you like that one?
Yeah.
Miss Negative.
What?
You were negative a minute ago.
Well, it's just like, let me just fix envy. I just don't think it's that easy.
No, I think it's a sneaky one that we suffer from regularly and don't even know it. Lifelong battle.
Mm-hmm.
Then treat envy as the messenger, they say. They say envying another person's career, money, or happiness can make us feel immature and ashamed. And when this discomfort brews, it's easy to mistake envy for an enemy. But just because an emotion feels terrible doesn't mean it's wrong and bad.
This is not like anger or disappointment. It's not just a negative emotion.
Yeah, they're trying to say it's not negative.
Yeah, I disagree that they're trying to paint it as potentially a good thing, but maybe this is a chance to like take stock of your life, figure out why you're envious. Is there a change you want to make in your life that will help you get to your goals, that kind of thing? But envy is still bad.
That's kind of what they're getting at.
I think like envy is going to show you what your heart's desires are. So it's going to show you kind of what's going on in your heart, maybe a little window into your heart, but it's not necessarily that it's a good emotion to have.
Like, do I need to readdress my expectations, pray about this?
Yeah.
So I think a better way they could have phrased it here was like, you can use it as a means to better understand yourself.
Yes.
That's better.
Not that, oh, it's good. No, it's not good. I mean, a Christian can't believe that for certain.
Oh, this is a secular publication.
Right, of course. So they say envy is a valuable messenger, and one way to decode its meaning is to answer the question, what's at the root of my envy? Ask yourself. And so it's, like, what's my goal and what actions can I take to accomplish it? Like, these people I know have a vacation home now. Do I want that? Is that my goal? How will I get that? I won't. Done.
It's not going to happen.
Next one, they say to fight envy, show affection.
To that person?
Yeah, they say it's harder to let envy fester when you show affection. For example, one study found that making eye contact when someone shares good news can generate empathy, helping to applaud their success. So like if somebody goes, guess what, Lauren? I just bought a vacation home. Look them right in the eye, practice, and say something like, tell me you're happy for me. Go ahead.
I'm so happy for you. Don't keep looking at me.
What is that face you're making at her?
Are you feeling better?
Well, sure.
You're asking her to manufacture emotions in this completely hypothetical skit.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
It's not bad.
But they're saying, like, if you need to verbalize at least and make eye contact and tell someone, I am happy for you.
Right.
Well, then maybe you stop seeing their success as a threat to you because they're your friends and you love them and you want them to also succeed.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that we ought to want that as a believer, right? We want to think as others is more important than ourselves. And so why not be able to applaud somebody for their success or whatever their little thing is that they do? Practice gratitude. It says, focus on the joyful things you've received recently. Start by trying to identify 3 things. Perhaps it was a compliment from a friend or help from a neighbor. Anyway, just when you're feeling envious, make a list of things you're thankful for. I like that.
That one's good.
That's good.
And they say, try sympathetic joy. Sympathetic joy motivates us to shower the winner with praise. Not only does this make the person feel good, but benefits us as well. So you explicitly share positive feelings and emotions with somebody else about their success. What do you think? Is it going to work, guys?
I'm hung up on the term sympathetic joy. It's an interesting phrase.
Yeah, I don't know quite how I feel about that, but I think it's important. I'm glad we kind of parse the difference here between envy and jealousy.
Did they maybe just mean like empathy? Is that what they're trying to get at?
Maybe. But I think it's also like practicing the idea of, you're telling yourself, no, don't be jealous. Don't even be envious. Celebrate with them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Daria just got promoted. I don't need to worry about myself at all in this. I'm just going to go, wow, Daria, you really deserve that. You're a hard worker. I'm so excited for you. Let me take you out to lunch to celebrate with you while I stare you directly in the eyes. This was all fictitious. And there's no lunch for you. So nonetheless, work on it. We're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren does not envy, we've discovered. Just kidding, that's not true.
No, I just can't think of a story right now. It'll take me too long.
I'm envious of you that you can't think of a story. But I'm really happy for you that you're finding success.
Thank you.
Daria's going to take you out to lunch to celebrate that you're
No, you already offered to buy.
success over. No, I'm talking to Lauren now.